Hello there, my friends. This is Grace, and here I am with another Pilot Up series video. And this time I'm going to be working with stamps. Now, I just want to let you know that this is going to be it's going to be a while for me to do another Pilot Up video because I'm running out of products or certain items to pile up. And so if you have any ideas of what I can pile up, I've done ribbons, pattern paper. Oh no, I haven't done ribbons, but I've done buttons, pattern paper, stickers, rub-ons, I think, and then stamps and die cuts, I believe. So if you have any ideas of what I can pile up on us, on my page, please leave me a comment. So that will help me get some ideas going on what to feature next. With this page, I'm going to try to put as much stamping as I can. And so I'm going to be working with, I started off with an 8.5 by 11 paper, and then I'm going to add cardstock to it because I wanted to use some stamps to add the design on the background. Had cut out 5 of these cardstocks, and then I'm going to use another pattern paper but with a more subtle design as my 6th block, and I cut them 3.5 by 3.5 square, and these are just from my scraps, so which is really good. I feel really good when I use up my scraps. I hope I'm not the only one. Anyways, these pictures are pictures of flowers that were given to me. I do a craft camp every summer. I started it in 2012, and so these are from flowers from a family that was the kids were part of my craft camp. There were 3 kids all in all, and they just gave me flowers, which was really nice. I enjoy that craft camp every year. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it this summer because of the baby, but so that foam thing that I have there, that's actually a packaging for a Brad package that I have. I think it was from GCD Studios. Anyways, I put 2 together using some micropore tape, which is, you know, the uh, medical tape that could be easily tore. And I'm using 2 of them because some of these blocks are wider than the foam, and I just use those as kind of a backing for my stamping, just so that I can have a clear image on my paper. And I'm doing it one-handed here because I'm actually holding my baby. He didn't want to sleep during this time, so I was holding him until he fell asleep so I can put him down. So you're going to see me stop here twice in this video because I would put him down next to me on his bouncer. Now this background stamp is from Hamilton Arts. They're, I think, partnership with Doodlebug. This is a floral design, and I wanted to do a tone on tone on this paper, so I was just going to use my Versamark, but when it dried up, it didn't really show very well, and so I'm going to redo that later on with some green, that emerald green ink from American Crafts, just because it wasn't really showing very well. And I'm using my Fiskars a stamping block, but I'm not using the side where the foam, you know, the foam bounces. I'm actually using the other side. The only reason why I'm using that because that is my biggest block, and so I needed that for these big background stamps. And then I'm inking this with some purple ink from Studio G that I got from Joann's, and it's very subtle. You can't hardly see it over here, which is fine by me. It's just a background. But I really liked how this layout turned out and how I was able to use a lot of stamps. And these are stamps that I haven't used in forever, so it was really good to just pull them out and use them. This is from the stamp set is I believe it's called a doily set, and it's from Studio Calico. And I'm going to ink it with the purple again. And here I like that there's a white background, so I'm not inking right on that black, because sometimes when I ink on the black, it kind of transfers to whatever I'm using. So I want to use a scrap paper, and I cut it on the size of my little block there, just so I know that I'm not going to go over the foam, because I've done that before where I stamp and then it goes over or away from the foam, and so it doesn't ink very well because it's not a what's that word I'm looking for? It's not a flat surface. And here I am again doing one-handed stamping because I had my baby, because he cried when I put him down and he didn't want to be put down. And so I guess I put him down too early because he wasn't fully asleep yet. And I would clean the stamps as I go with some baby wipes, um, just so that it doesn't, the inks won't transfer to anything. Because as you can see, my table is pretty messy with all this stuff, and I don't want to accidentally have ink on spots of my paper that I didn't want it to have ink on. Okay, so here is I think it's kind of like a I don't know what you call them, but it's a circle stamp. I'm trying to think of a word. A banner maybe, or I don't know, but it's a circle um, stamp from Pink Paisley, and it has a thumbs up, which I thought was really cute, and I forgot the words that it said on there. But I initially wanted it to be the yellow, but the yellow wasn't really standing out against the gray, so I decided to go up with the emerald green. Now, the ink colors that I've chosen are based off of the colors of the flowers that are in my photos. I wanted them to match. So there's, of course, green in the photo, and then it had some purple flowers and yellow and kind of a peach color. And then the gray ink that I'm using is just so it'll have kind of a neutral base. So that's why I chose those ink pads. And they're from different companies, as you can see. Some are Studio G from Joanne, some are SCI, that little one. Those two mixed media ones are Donna Salazar from Colorbox, and the ink, the emerald one, is from American Crafts. Now, my white cardstock that I have here is pretty glossy, and so when I had put this ink, I wasn't sure how long it was going to dry, and so it kind of smeared a little, but I wasn't too worried about that because it was going to be a background, so even if it smeared a bit, then it wouldn't show. But I really love this kind of arrow design on that Studio Calico cling stamp, and I'm probably going to use that a lot more now that I have busted it out and now that I can remember it. So here I am inking that floral stamp again, and I'm going to now ink that up and put it on that green, just because, like I said earlier, the tone on tone that I was trying to go for, it wasn't showing really well, and so with this green one, it showed much better. Again, my videos cut out from time to time, and so I don't know which ones have been cut out here, but I know because I see it. So this is the letters that I'm going to use as my title. I'm going to spell it Beautiful Blooms, and these stamps are from American Crafts, letter stamps, and I'm just going to ink it with black. And that lower on the lower left part of the video, you can see that there's a star with flourishes. That's from Bow Bunny, and there was a kind of just a flourish design that came with that ink pad, with that stamp, and so I used that, inked that with the gray and used it as a border between my title and the blocks of paper, and you will see that later. And it's just a very subtle border, but I really like the design of the flourishes and that. So if you don't have a foam, packaging from Brad's, you can also use fun foam. I've seen people use that, and I'm thinking I might even bust out my fun foams just because the area of a fun foam is much wider than what I've been using right now. So there's my border with the flourishes, and then I wanted to have just a little bit more pattern there, so I'm adding a striped paper, and I'm inking the edges of the flourish just because I wanted to stand out against the title. And then here I am just playing around with my pictures. I get kind of disoriented with them because especially the close-ups of the flowers, because can't remember which direction they were. So I want to make sure that I don't I don't adhere them with a photograph, being not the right orientation. So I would flip them around just because they got me all confused. And so this is a flower from that same doily pack, and I'm just stamping them on white, and I'm going to cut it out, fuzzy cut it, so I can use them as my accents. I think the last time I counted my page, the stamps on my page, I think I used 10 stamps on this 8.5 by 11 page, which is remarkable for me because I don't ever consider myself being a stamper, but I really loved how it all turned out, how I was able to use as many stamps as I did in this page. I think this video is going to cut out. It's not going to show the other things that I've done. I also stamped and heat embossed a sentiment from an Ali Edwards stamp set on vellum, and then I'm going to use that on the bottom of the layout. And then I'm also going to use some brads on the center of these flowers just to add a little bit more dimension to it. And I wanted to use the rule of thirds on this, and so I'm doing 3 flowers as my visual triangle. And then what else did I do? Oh, and I matted my pictures on white cardstock just because when I was finally adhering everything, it looks like it was just kind of blending into the background, and I wanted it to stand out a little bit more. And I did use my typewriter for my journaling, and there is my page. This is the heat embossed sentiment from the Ali Edwards stamp set. Thank you again for watching, and I hope to see you and hear from you soon. Bye.